The biggest stigma we hear is that people are still misinformed on HIV basics, and that leads to people being discriminated against. So we hear people that aren't allowed to have dinner with their families. We hear people that are told they need to leave their community. You compound that with stigmatization of people who use drugs, and you compound that with racism. You're dealing with a very complex issue, and it's hard to address sometimes. And so we're hearing that people can live with the virus, but they can't live with the stigma and the discrimination.
If you look at any disease among Indigenous peoples, you can link all of it back to intergenerational trauma and colonization, full stop. Indigenous people have the poorest health status in Canada. They have the poorest socioeconomic status in Canada. You can look at New Zealand, you can look at Australia, you can look at the United States, and we all have very similar statistics. Why? There's one common factor: colonization.
Predominantly it's shared drug equipment, and that's been consistent. We're also the only place in Canada that's the main factor in new HIV transmissions. Everybody should be getting tested once a year, and they should be getting tested anytime they've had a risk factor, including a known sexual partner or sharing drug equipment, including cocaine or injectables as well.
So we still have a long way to go, that it is more about the social determinants of health and support and cultural safety.
I think we need to make sure that people know everybody's at risk, because a lot of times when we say, oh, it's the Indigenous community, people think it's not them. And I can't tell you how many times I've had people in our offices crying because they didn't think that they were in a risk category.